Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi, and boy, this studio has seen a lot of losing today.
Yeah.
It's been an ugly day.
Let's blame Matt Eberflus for this, too.
It's his fault. Hawks lose 6-1 to the Red Wings, and boy, it's I would say that's probably an accurate representation of how the game went.
It was, this game mattered, I'd be more upset. But I think what we saw tonight was the Blackhawks players who are likely headed to their junior squads, likely headed to Rockford. They were the ones, unfortunately, having the biggest impact on it in a negative way. Jackson Stauber, rough night in net. Some of those goals, not really his fault, but some of them you would like to have back.
Yeah.
Paul Ludwinski, rough game. But I will say, though, credit to a guy like Colton Dock, credit to a guy like Gavin Hayes. They had some positive impacts in the game. But, yeah, I mean, it's just it's a preseason game where, this is one where you look at the tape and you learn from mistakes. And for the guys that put some of the bad stuff on tape, you hope to learn from it and, improve on it and have a good junior year.
Yeah. First of all, Ira says this is the second time I'm on his TV today, so you're having a really bad day. But that's on you. You could always change the channel.
But don't do it.
Not now.
Don't do it.
But,
Too late. You're in.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can. There was some ugly hockey, but it's third of six preseason games.
All three preseason games have been rather
preseason
bad hockey.
Yeah. I mean, it's what you expect this time of year. Now, you get into the last two games where you're going to see more of the lineup. Yeah. You don't want to see the mistakes, but I mean, there are a lot of teachable moments in tonight's game for guys that are going to be here. I think Connor Bedard had some teaching moments. He looked human out there. It was quite obvious that the weird-looking Derek Lalonde was focused on don't let number 98 beat us. They did a really good job defensively against him out there.
For the most part.
And then, it took them to basically put Simon Edvinson's strap in the rafters.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Try not to let that happen again.
And then, I'm sure we'll get into it, but, you stop trying to make Taylor Radish score a power play, go and shoot the puck.
Yeah, we'll start the show with Bedard, but before we do, want to remind everybody, make sure you smash that like button on YouTube. We've got 120 people watching so far and only 33 likes. So if we have 120 watching, we should have 120 likes that become part of the routine. You click on it, and the first thing you do is smash that like button. And if you're like me and have several YouTube accounts, feel free.
Reveal your burners.
To like it from all of them. I've got my CHGO Gmail. I've got my other Gmail. I've got my Homewood Baseball and Softball email, and I've got the MFAT Podcast email. That's 4 likes for the video every show. So there you go. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So get in the habit of hitting that like button. It helps us out big time. And if you're a podcast listener, make sure you're following, turn on those notifications, and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. But, let's start with Bedard. Like we said, had some moments, another jaw-dropping stick-handling play. Got a nice chance late, set up beautifully by Colton Dock with a really nice touch pass.
Yep.
Kind of just ran out of room to get the shot off he wanted, but still got a good shot on goal. But the Red Wings were definitely focused on him and not wanting to be embarrassed by him. And I think we all agree, and Greg, you just said it, stop trying to force the puck to the veterans. You are the power play quarterback for a reason.
You have the best shot on this team.
Yes.
Taylor Radish showed you why you shouldn't keep trying to pass it to Taylor Radish. Missed the net a bunch tonight. Duffed a puck as well. I get it. You want to be a team guy, but when you're losing and you're on the power play, shoot it.
Yeah.
Shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a teachable moment.
I hope it's not deferring to veterans, because let's be honest. Now that Kane and Taves are gone, there are no veterans on this team that need deference.
No.
Right? There's no one here that's like, I am this person and I need to get mine.
Yeah.
Especially Taylor Radish. Nothing against him, but he's 23. 24, right? Like
and he's had one full NHL season.
Yeah, he's far from somebody with skins on the wall.
Yeah.
There's no one on this team that he should be deferring to. He's the guy. And I think everyone on that team, every teammate is probably looking at him like, dude, shoot it. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to put my stick down. Yeah. Don't pass to me. Shoot.
I'd like to think it's Bedard trying to be creative, because I feel like when hockey players have that level of skill, they want to tap into it. They want to be like, well, I have the ability to throw a beautiful cross-ice sauce pass right on the tape for my teammate, so I want to try and do that. For Bedard, though, you also have arguably the second best shot in the NHL before you've even played a regular season game. Use it. Yeah. You're on a 5-on-3. Look at all the space you have. Rip one, kid. Like, go for it. It's a preseason game. Just shoot.
No one's going to be mad at you.
No, yeah, no one is going to be upset if Connor Bedard scores a power play goal.
If Taylor Radish is pounding his stick, yelling for the puck, who cares?
Yeah.
No, seriously.
I'd like to think it's him trying too hard to be the teammate. Just
that'll
shoot
change. That'll change. You know, and again, tonight, it's not like so many guys have never played with each other. You know, guys that are playing their second game in as many nights.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. Like,
there's nothing in this game that worries me.
No, not at all. And there's nothing that we're going to remember by the time these two teams meet again Tuesday night at the United Center. Definitely nothing we're going to remember when the puck drops on the regular season, October 10th. So the two most important things that come out of this game: nobody got hurt, and we're one day closer to the regular season.
Yeah, check another day off the calendar.
All that matters at this point. A successful preseason game is not having what we saw in Minnesota last night.
Yeah. Speaking of hurt, we do have an update on Samuel Savoie, who, if you missed it last night, was stretchered off the ice. He had surgery on his femur today, out indefinitely, but they said they expect him to make a full recovery. So not good.
Yeah, they didn't give a timeline, but I would imagine a surgery on a femur bone is not something you bounce back from very quickly.
No, I saw someone on the interwebs with a medical background saying a full recovery from a broken femur is 6 to 8 months. So his season, he's not playing this year.
6 months would be April.
But on the plus side, I guess, breaking your femur is terrible, but I guess having a clean break of a bone is better than blowing out a knee,
ligaments and stuff,
stuff like that, or so. You know, it's gruesome. It's going to be a tough road to recovery, but I guess it could be worse.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope that he's
young enough where bones should heal pretty quickly and strong, and so hopefully by this time next year we're ready for him to go to Rockford and play professionally.
Yeah, it's such a sucky, literally, break for him, because he was going into, an opportunity in Gatineau to have an elevated role, and it's really hard to lose a full year of hockey when you're 19. He was, in the running to be considered for Team Canada at the World Juniors. Like, he was at their summer. They didn't do a camp, but he was at their summit over the summer.
He told us that was one of his biggest goals of the season, was making that team. So it sucks.
So that's rough for him, but hopefully, he's got time for recovery now. So
isn't the femur the thickest bone in the body too?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's the biggest bone.
I
in
know
the
I've
body.
heard before it's supposed to be the worst one to break in terms of pain. So
you could hear him screaming on the ice last night. It was just brutal. My concern is, like, beyond the medical recovery. You mentioned it, being 19 years old, your chance to play for the World Juniors, you feel like you're doing it, and you lose that opportunity, like the mental toll that those sort of things can take. And the kind of style that Savoie plays, you don't want him to be coming back and, like, being hesitant or being afraid. And look, like, it's natural. You go through any injury that major, and you're going to be a little bit hesitant to play the way you've played. And the way, the reason he got hurt was because he was going hard to retrieve a puck and finish a check, and just lost his feet. So it's scary, but it seems like the Hawks are optimistic about his future. So
He
I
seems
just hope he's doing it right mentally.
he seems like a guy that probably shouldn't have any reservations about getting back out there full speed. He's a young kid. He's got that, he's got that personality. I think he'll be okay.
He's got plenty of time to perfect that mustache now.
Yeah.
Well, he needs a lot of work on that.
Rest up and
Got
grow the
He's
mustache.
got 6 to 8 months.
That
to
might
work
take
on it.
longer than the femur recovery to grow that thing to full length. Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I saw somebody on the chat say like people are freaking out over Bedard. I don't think that's happening. I mean, look,
No.
he's not gonna have 3 points every game. It's just
Why not?
It's not realistic. Connor McDavid doesn't do that at the peak of his powers, right? Like, what you like to see is there were still those moments where he was clearly one of the best players on the ice, making really nice, once again dancing around NHL defenders and generating chances. Look, I picked him for Who's My Hawk and I won. So I think he had a great game personally.
As Mario mentioned last night, we probably do have to come to some sort of rule about Bedard in the game.
Yeah, maybe like limit him to once a month selection or once every 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Bedard, if you pick Bedard, all his points are nuked by a half.
They're
So
worth-
a goal
they're
is
worth half.
one,
Yeah,
and
you get odds.
assist is a half a point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's any reason to truly worry. I think when we talk about like, okay, we want to see these things be different from him, shoot more, be more assertive. It's not a concern. It's just
Observation.
It's an observation, and it's a desire to see a guy who has that level of skill use it.
As Geoist says in our chat, points out, he provided the screen on the goal.
He did.
So you love seeing, your high-skilled player recognize a chance to just go to the net and provide the screen. And that was a really nice shot by Crevier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those guys that
We never talk about
We don't
him.
talk about him when it comes to the prospects. And he played the full season in Rockford last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to get an elevated role. There's some potential there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever going to be a regular NHL player, but there's potential. There's a chance. He's not a stiff out there.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. I know his brother's going to come find me now. He's not Victor Svedberg. That guy was a stiff and a plug.
Yeah.
He was just really tall. Crevier's got some
He's
talent.
got some
He
game to him.
skates pretty well for a big guy. Not as good as Alex Vlasic, but maybe one day,
Mm-hmm.
And that reach is a weapon.
It can be. Yeah.
And he showed off that he's got a real nice shot. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on him in Rockford this year. See where he goes. We never talk about them. And Philip Roos is another guy we never seem to talk about.
Yeah.
And he played
He had
tonight.
power play 1 opportunities. Yeah, I mean, those guys seem like bubble AHL, NHL guys. So I think their ceiling is kind of capped at being that or being a 7th NHL defenseman, I think. So I just think that there's other guys that we focus on. But when they have good games, call them out for sure. Like Crevier had a decent game. I think he's going to be a guy
He's
that
right-handed.
he is. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Really? It is.
There you go.
But I mean, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to push guys like Del Mastro and Allen and whoever else out of the young defensemen that get the short straw and go to Rockford. He's going to be a guy that pushes them for minutes when they get to Rockford, which will be a good thing for those players as well, and it's good for him too. It all breeds competition. So, but yeah, I mean, if he's a better skater than Svedberg at the same size and with a better shot, I think his prospects of reaching the NHL at some point are pretty decent.
Matt with a good observation says tonight's game was almost as bad as a tragic Blue Man Group accident that took Entwistle's family from the earth. Yeah,
My
Yeah.
God,
you're right. It was almost that bad.
it was almost, there was a lot of paint everywhere. that
R.I.P.
night.
in peace. So much paint, so much toilet paper. Tragic stuff.
Yeah.
Windy City Hockey with a $2 super chat says, "Is Vlasic going to get a call from player safety?"
I hope not.
I don't
hope.
think
That
so.
that shouldn't have been a major. I'm sorry.
That was two large people colliding.
Vlasic was clearly trying to avoid the contact.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you got two guys that have a combined 10 feet of leg going at each other.
Yeah, right.
That's a lot of leg. And there was one more
beefy
super
men
chat.
slapping knees.
Yeah,
Big
exactly.
meaty knees, slapping meat knees.
Nate says, "What are your guys' thoughts on Del Mastro and Kaiser tonight? Where do you think they are on the organizational depth chart after tonight?" Let's put a pin in that, because Kaiser especially is something we want to talk about in the next segment. But first, we're going to tell you about our friends at Fubo.
Yeah.
Cable is too expensive. Ask your uncle. He'll tell you over and over again, "I'm tired of paying these jagoffs all this money.
The rent
I need a
is
cheaper
too
option."
high, too damn high.
Well, here you go. Fubo TV, 140 live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. You can stream live TV from any device and watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. That's a good combination. Start watching immediately with a free trial at FuboTV.com/CHGO. There is no contract. There is no cable. There is no hassle. Just sign up and start watching. You get 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge, and you can watch your local teams while traveling. Their mobile streaming interface is so simple. There's no you need to be in your home Wi-Fi to watch this. No, just open up the app and watch your damn cable. That's how it should be. College football, Big Ten, NFL Network, Red Zone, Ryder Cup. That's not going so well from what I understand.
It is over.
Next year's Ryder Cup.
Team USA
and the Euro
I
qualifiers,
understood
which
it was
I'm
over like 3 days ago.
all right.
Yeah, it was pretty much over day one. Yeah.
Cool. Well, next next September,
Go
you can
get
watch the
'em,
Ryder Cup.
USA.
Go get them in the Ryder Rolston Cup next year.
There you go. So yeah, watch all your favorite sports with Fubo. Go to FuboTV.com/CHGO to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. And if I have advice for our friends at Fubo, start advertising that picture-in-picture split screen of watching 2, 3, 4 games at once, which you can do on Fubo. It's awesome.
Quad
So
box.
great feature there, especially during football and hockey season when you can just be watching everything that's on. It's great.
Absolutely. Fubo would definitely come in handy on a day like today. It was, Bears football, Blackhawks hockey. You had the end of the seasons for the Cubs and the White Sox, and a lot of things going on. All of those things were bad. All of those things can be remedied by a trip to the Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Want to forget about everything that happened today? Sunnyside has it. Has what you need. They are your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. They have everything you need to elevate or forget your football season. No matter where you are in your cannabis journey, easy online ordering and in-store pickup are available. Sunnyside will help you with everything, and they have a great transparent loyalty program called Sunnyside Rewards. It says, talk about a Chicago athlete that has made you feel good. Justin Fields had a
Ryan Urlacher was
fantastic
good
game
back in the day.
until his last throw of the game.
Pudwack now.
He is a Pudwack.
So, I don't know.
Confirmed.
Justin Fields.
Not
made
Justin, Urlacher.
Yeah.
Ah,
Justin Fields made us feel good.
He did.
For 3.5 quarters.
He did.
And then the coaches made us feel bad.
Yeah, Sunnyside,
Not his fault.
Sunnyside can make you feel good again. And they have tons of in-house brands available. They have the Mindy's, the best tasting gummies and chocolate edibles around, created by James Beard award-winning chef Mindy Siegel and Cresco Labs. They got the Good News, the High Supply, the Floracal, Wonder, Remedy, and everything under the sun that you can get under the sunny side, that you can get to expand and elevate your cannabis journey. Now through October 15th, head to sunnyside.shop and use the promo code CHGO25 at checkout. When you do, you're going to get 25% off of your total order. That code is one use per customer and is not stackable with other promotions, but it's not only for new customers. Anyone can use that code, CHGO25 at checkout. Pick up everything you need to elevate your football and hockey seasons from Sunnyside. Must be 21 or older or an Illinois medical card holder.
All right, so before we get into the Wyatt Kaiser talk, we got to give you some roster news. Mitchell Weeks was released from his PTO and assigned to Rockford. And then later in the day, Antti Sorella, Marcel, Michael Tepley, and Nolan Allen were also sent to Rockford. So the Hawks training camp roster is now at 41 players, 26 forwards, 11 defensemen, and 4 goalies. I would expect probably a couple more moves either tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sending some guys back to their junior clubs or to Rockford. Yeah. But with Nolan Allen, who had been playing his offside defensively, that gave Wyatt Kaiser a chance to try things on the right side. And I think overall, pretty decent. He ended the game leading all Blackhawks in ice time. He played 23-10, I believe. Yes. Ended with 3 shots on goal. He was a -2, but it was a 6-1 game, and he played a ton of the game.
Right.
So it was interesting. They talked to him during the first intermission of the game, and Darren Pang said, basically asked him, like, what's it like? Kaiser said, it's different. In the neutral zone, you're catching it on your forehand, not really facing the ice as much. If you're trying to attack, you're on your backhand. You have to recognize spots you're in. Sometimes you have to punt the puck off the glass and play for another day. Earlier this week, maybe last week, I had the chance to ask Luke Richardson, as it pertained to Nolan Allen, like what made him the guy he wanted to play there. But he also sort of got into the advantages and disadvantages of playing on the offside. So if we could fire up that video, Steven, of Luke Richardson, that would be great.
You've got Nolan Allen on the right side. What went into the decision to make him the guy to shift sides, and what are some of the challenges you might face doing that?
There's advantages and disadvantages on your strong side and weak side. And I think for him, I noticed him last year in the rookie tournament. We had too many lefties, and he played the right side, and he looked really good. And he's a physical guy. And I think physical guys probably maybe get more benefit out of that, because when you turn and pivot to the wall, your stick is as a lefty on that side, you can cover more ground if a guy's going wide on you. I think it's an advantage, and if someone turns back, you can flush the puck up the wall. There's lots of advantages, and even pucks coming up the wall in the offensive zone, you can pull that off your backhand. You have to work on it, but if you pull it off your backhand, you're automatically in a really good shooting position inside the dots. So there's advantages of it, and definitely as a young guy, he's going to have to work at it at this level, but I think he's got the confidence to do that. He just looks like a hockey player. He just looks like you could put him anywhere and he'll play. He's hard. I watched him in the rookie tournament. He blocks shots. He doesn't even grimace. There's not even a flinch in his face. Like, he is, basically a man coming out of junior, and now he just has to learn that NHL game.
Does he have a shot this year to make the team?
I think just as much as probably any of the other young guys, I think the other young guys have had more experience. So he may need some experience in the minors to start, but you never know. Like, you don't want to ever, kind of pinpoint a guy into a spot and then they exceed that, and then it throws you a wrench. I think just keep an open mind. Let them show us what they have, and that's Krasinski down to Allen or up, and that's Vlasic, that's Phillips, that's all of them, and Ruse. They've all had some experience with us here, except Del Mastro and Allen coming in here. So I think we let's see how they measure up against the other guys in the exhibition games.
That's Luke Richardson. Now, that was September 22nd, so he is talking about the possibility of Nolan Allen making the team. But what I wanted to focus on there was, the advantages and disadvantages of playing on the side. And what he said was when he thought Allen was a good fit on the right side, he said that he thinks a physical defenseman can handle it well because he'll be just physically stronger on the backhand to play the puck off the boards, be able to take the body when he has to in a jam, which makes perfect sense when you're talking about Nolan Allen. Now, Wyatt Kaiser does not fit that mold. It's not to say he is incapable of playing physical, but he is a puck-moving offensive defenseman. The advantage for him is he takes that puck off the board and he's immediately on his forehand and able to kind of navigate the puck through traffic a little bit better. He's got a better shooting angle. So it's interesting. It's noticeable and obvious that they are trying their damnedest to find somebody who can do this. Mm-hmm. I would say give Kaiser as many looks there as you can between now and the beginning of the preseason or the regular season, because it feels like he's ready. Darren Pang was saying it.
He's making this team in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I don't think he's getting sent to Rockford.
And I think I like the idea of, look, like in an ideal world, it would be somebody like Brent Seabrook, who is both physical and offensive,
Right.
but you don't have that right now. So I think for me, I would prefer somebody with offense on that because they're going to have more speed. They can close on an approaching player at the blue line more quickly.
Yeah.
The bigger concerns in the offensive zone. And once they get that puck off the boards, they're right there ready to add to the offense and quickly. So I like the idea of Kaiser getting that spot. With Allen down in Rockford, I really want to see if Kaiser can do it.
Yeah, I think if he can do it, that would be great. A guy who can use his skating to kind of get out of the more difficult situations than having to just rely on, taking a hit to make a play all the time. I think though, because if you think about their regular lineup, you got Seth Jones and Connor Murphy are your top pair, second pair right shot defensemen. So if Allen could have worked out, it would have been great because he could just play third pair minutes and probably be sheltered on his offside. But without Allen doing it, your other right-hand defenseman is Nikita Zaitsev, which if you have to play him, okay. I think for Kaiser, if he's going to excel at that role, that's fine. If that's going to mean that you play less of Nikita Zaitsev and give Kaiser more of an opportunity, I think that's fine. I think for Kaiser, though, his best situation is playing on his preferred side on the left and playing with a guy like Seth Jones. I think that's, for him, his best situation probably to succeed. I think it's great to see, and these preseason games are perfect for it. Try anything. Try to see if something sticks. And if Allen's going back to Rockford, if Del Mastro's not going to play on his offside, if Kaiser's not going to be able to fill that role, you have Zaitsev, you have Crevier, who's a right shot defenseman, if you want to do that. Or maybe we see October 8th or 9th, who's on waivers as a right shot defenseman in the last cuts of NHL camp. Then we might have that conversation.
When you can get a guy like Jared Tenori last year where it's a known commodity.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is a 6th, 7th NHL defenseman as opposed to picking up these busted first-round picks that everybody wants us to get. Yeah, I agree. I think Kaiser and Jones, like, you had the 444 pair and the 555 pair.
Yeah.
Those are two
aesthetically
good pairs.
pleasing.
And those are the best fits for your young mobile defensemen, to be in with guys who are defensively responsible. And as someone pointed out in the chat just a minute ago, no Jones and no Murphy, you notice when they're not out there.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I think we take for granted what those guys bring on a nightly basis. And then when they're not there, and you see, the fire drills that happen in your own zone all night because you don't have that steady presence back there. You mentioned this is the time of year to try things, and that brought up something I wanted to see a little bit during that 5-minute Major Alex Vlasic. I would have liked to see Connor Bedard out there on the PK for at least a minute or two.
Yeah,
because,
try it.
A, you were losing, so why not? Go for a shorthanded goal. But the kid's proven that he could play defense. He's willing to play defense.
Yeah.
You want to be aggressive on the PK this year.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Bedard out there with his smarts and his speed could get you 2 or 3, 4 shorthanded goals. Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe it's not something they don't want to throw too much at him too fast. But I think at some point this year, I'd like to give that a look.
Yeah.
Just because, if it's a late game power play, you're down a goal, maybe 7 minutes to go, you got to go on the PK. Put Connor Bedard out there for half of it and see if he can, get a breakaway. This would have been a good time to try it. Just put him out there for a minute. Because otherwise, he sat for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't on the – that's your best player. You got to figure out a way to get him out there. Again, preseason doesn't count. But this is the time. I would have thrown him out there for, at least the last minute of that PK and give him a shot.
I would have enjoyed that too. Bad job by me, by the way. As we are going to do every game this year, you guys, our chat, everyone listening, gets to vote on the 4-star of the night. Our candidates for this evening are defenseman Louis Crevier, defenseman Wyatt Kaiser, and goaltender Drew Comesso. Very close race today so far. Louis Crevier in the lead with 38%, Wyatt Kaiser with 33%, and Drew Commesso with 29%. I do want to talk about Commesso a little bit, who came in cold off the bench after Jackson Stauber had given up 5 goals and really kind of stopped the bleeding for the Hawks.
And it was our understanding at the beginning of the day that Stauber was supposed to get the whole game.
Yep.
Yeah.
So to sit there on the bench as a young goalie thinking all right, I'm not playing tonight, you kind of maybe your mind wanders a little bit.
Thinking about a Jets pizza.
Yeah, I think about that Detroit pizza sandwich that they keep advertising. Well, no, you're in Little Caesars Arena. You're not
That's
thinking
true,
of Jets
yeah.
pizza. You're thinking of other awful Detroit pizza. But, yeah, he came out there. I mean, it was the right move to give Stauber a break. You weren't doing him any favors out there. It's hard. It was hard to hang many of those goals against him, and it was a tire fire in front of him most of the night.
That's also a move coaches will do to try and inspire their team. Be like, hey, we've left this guy out to dry. Pick up your game.
So, yeah, Commesso got out there, and was it 10 of 11 shots?
10 of 11.
With 9 of those shots coming
I think that's been
shorthanded?
updated. So
Okay.
it was 5 power play saves.
Okay,
5
okay.
those
defensive
numbers
saves.
did seem a little
Yeah.
high when they.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Espen also has Louis Crevier as a center. So for what it's worth,
Sure.
they're tracking the stats, but not
Why
the players
not?
so well. But yeah, I mean, he's been good. Comesso's 2 appearances this preseason have been pretty impressive. I liked what I seen.
Two half
from him.
games.
It's encouraging.
Yeah, I think, the situations he's been put in, both games have been thrown into the middle of the game, coming off the bench, and to give up a combined 2 goals on, let me do my math here, 28 shots over 2 games, that's not bad
No,
for your
it's
first
pretty good.
2 tastes of playing a professional game. That's not bad. So I mean that gives me some encouragement for him as he likely heads to Rockford to start the season and get probably the lion's share of starts down there. I'm liking what I see from Commesso so far in the preseason, and excited to see what he does when games matter.
Yep. Another person we had an eye on in this one was Lucas Reichel. Won 9 and lost 7 faceoffs. So that's encouraging. After he had won 13% in his first preseason game.
It was a little rough.
Won 56.3%. 3 shots on goal in this one. Otherwise, a line full of zeros. He finished even. 3 shots, like I said, 16:31 of ice time. Not super noticeable, really good or bad. There was one shift where it was right after that Bedard move shift. The next shift, Reichel had a really nice shift.
Yeah,
of his
he went
own.
out there and said, "Okay, I can do a little bit of that too."
Yeah, but I think early reviews of him playing center, I was a little worried he might look like fish out of water, kind of, I don't know, like fire drill-esque.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been. He looks calm. He looks confident. And as Lebowski says, he was quiet. But in a 6-1 game, it's not the worst thing for your second-line center to finish even and not be noticeable in terms of defensive lapses.
Yeah. Sometimes in games like this, if you are watching and you're like, oh, hey, I forgot this guy's even in this game tonight, that's not the worst thing because it means you're at least not doing bad things to lead to 6 goals getting hung on you. But yeah, I mean, Reichel, he too is not going to have an 82-game point streak this season. But I think, just there's going to be some nights where he can jump out, have some flash, make a highlight reel play. And there's going to be some nights where, he's in a role now playing center where he might just have a game where he wins the majority of his faceoffs and plays defensively responsible, and that's all that's asked of him. So I think that's fine. It's a game tonight where if you're not making mistakes, it's a low bar to cross, but if you're just not making mistakes, that's kind of the win that you come away with it. So for Reichel to be, quiet, have a good flash here and there in this kind of game, that's fine. We look at the game scores from tonight. The top 4 guys were Gavin Hayes, Colton Dock, Reichel, and Bedard. And if you watch the game, you'd say those were probably the 4 guys that were making the most happen on the positive side of things for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, and Doc continues to impress and continues to look like he belongs. He's not going to make the team. He's going to start the year in Rockford, which I think is the right move. But, man, the more I see of him, the more excited I get. And I hope they keep him around like as long as they can.
Till the last cuts.
I want to see him in a game against like actual NHL competition where teams are playing mostly their A team.
Yeah.
And as the preseason goes on, the Hawks have 3 games left, including Tuesday, which will be on after. That's at the United Center, 7:30. The later you go, the more competitive the rosters get. I really want to see Doc maybe play until the 6th game and get in there against true NHL competition and see how he does, because he looks like he's right there.
Yeah. He's a spark plug out there, and that's what's going to get him, to stick in the league.
Yeah, he's been impressive. My hope for him this year is you go down in Rockford and you progress, you stay healthy.
Yeah,
that's my biggest concern for him. He's dealt with some injuries the last couple of years. Go down in the AHL, do what you do. Carve yourself out a nice little spot down there, top 6 role. I don't think it's out of the question that he makes his NHL debut at some point this season.
Yeah.
Not saying he's going to be an every night player, but I can definitely see him being one of those guys that later in the year gets, an injury call up, something like that, comes up, plays 2-3 games, and then goes back. It's nice to give the rookies and the AHL guys just a little like reward. Like, okay, you've been busting your ass all year. You're doing everything we want. Come on up for a game or two.
Especially post-deadline, when the Blackhawks will very likely be nowhere near, sniffing any kind of playoff chase or anything like that. Give those guys throw them a bone.
And, again, knock on wood, the Blackhawks were pretty good health-wise last year.
Mm-hmm.
They did not have to do the Rockford shuffle very often last season. So hopefully that carries over this year, but you never know. So I think we'll see Colton Dock in a NHL regular season game at some point this season.
I hope so. There was a comment you had up there from Powers I wanted to get to there, Steven. He says, am I the only one not sold on Ludwinski? I personally have never seen the stuff that made him a high second-round pick. I like the guy, but what is he supposed to do? Bottom 6 grinder? Yes, that's the expectation for him. Also, he's not anyone they're considering anywhere close to NHL play.
No.
2-3 years, maybe at the best. I mean,
not every guy that they pick is going to be NHL ready when they're 20.
Or an NHL player. Like, let's be honest.
Sure,
like, drafts are crapshoots.
Yeah.
And anything beyond the top 10, you're kind of, you never know.
Yeah, and I'm not punting on Paul Ludwinski yet. Like, he's going to go back to Kingston. He's going to play a major role. He had some injuries last year too. But I mean, he's a guy that is a high motor, high speed player. He's not a dynamic goal scorer. He's not a guy that's going to, make highlight reel passes or anything. But he's one of those guys where the relentlessness into his game and the effort and the energy is the big thing. And he's he's a good kid. Like, I think he's he's one of those guys where we talked about Kyle Davidson looking for character, high character in the draft. Ludwinski fits that mold too. So it's, on the ice and off the ice matters. I think it's just some guys are going to take a few years. Some guys are going to play, 2-3 years beyond their draft year in junior before they make the jump. Like, not everybody, once they're eligible to play in the play in the AHL, makes the jump right away. And not every 20 and 21-year-old, who was a second-round pick, makes the NHL right away. Guys have different development paths. I think it's way too early to say Ludwinski is anywhere near bust or anything like that.
I don't think their expectations for him right after being drafted were incredibly high either. I don't think anybody said this is a kid that's going to be a future top-line scorer for. Nobody said that. And, he's a guy that, he's looks like a junior player playing in an NHL game. He's got
the turnovers he had tonight were very junior.
Trying a little, like, even there were some drills like in the scrimmages they had earlier in the week. He's just a kid that's trying too hard. I'm here in NHL camp. I got to prove I belong.
Yeah.
I was a higher round draft pick. I got to prove that they're. Sometimes you just got to get the mental aspect out of the game, and just play your game. And he's trying too hard, I think, here, which is fine. It's natural. It happens a lot. Nobody was thinking, Paul Ludwinski was going to be NHL ready this year. I don't think anybody's thinking he's going to be NHL ready next season. He's a guy that's going to need some AHL time. He's going to need time that he needs to add some muscle and bulk to his. He's got to become more firm.
He's got to firm up.
Right. And but they've drafted him because of his skating ability. He's a really good skater, really fast. Fits the mold, the Tyler Davison mold, how he wants to play the game. Got to give him some time. This game was rough for him tonight, but you could say that about pretty much everybody on the roster. He's probably going back to the OHL, tomorrow morning, and he's going to get, back into his groove there, and, we'll keep you updated on how he's doing with our weekly rebuild report.
Yeah. We just got sent the Luke Richardson post-game video. Steven, I sent it to you in Slack. Maybe we can play that a little bit. A couple people in the chat mentioning, could he be Sam Lafferty? Could Ludwinski be Sam Lafferty?
Maybe.
Some speed,
I'd like
some
to
grit.
shoot higher than that, but maybe.
Yeah. It's just, it's hard to – it is tough to look at these guys where they are right now and say, second rounder, I'm concerned because he was – I don't know. I'm really not worried about Ludwinski because, again, I think of him as a guy who is somewhat far away from NHL play, and I don't think the Hawks think he's anywhere close. They're taking their time. And, look, it could be – some people mentioned Oliver Moore and Frank Nazar. Those are different kind of players. Mm-hmm. And they'll have the way they're going to play in the NHL is going to probably it's an easier transition because they're offensive players. They can score. They've got the skill and everything. Where Ludwinski's more of a grinder type who's going to have to learn how to do that at the pro level. So nothing concerning for me there. But yeah, would you like him to be better? Sure.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
No turnovers in a game would be a great thing, but they're going to happen.
Or one would be fine.
Yeah, sure.
Just not the ones right behind your own net because you pass it backwards.
Don't.
When you see a guy right.
Don't do that.
Again, teachable moments. That's a play.
Yeah.
That specific play where he decided to pass behind him. To think it was Vlasic behind him.
Try and do a drop pass behind the net.
And he had a defender right all over his back.
Yeah.
Instead of passing it up the boards where I think Kaiser was waiting. Those are teachable moments.
Yep.
I guarantee you that's going to be a clip that the coaching staff is going to sit him down and say, all right, this is the play you need to make going forward, and you move on.
You're never going to get yelled at for making the safe play.
Well, it's almost like even with Bedard, it's almost nice to see him as humble as he is, and as I hope I make the team and all those things he says. We have seen him up until tonight kind of dominate. Right? Yeah. First preseason game dominant, rookie game dominant, all those sort of things. So this is the first time he's really kind of struggled through a game.
Yes.
It's good for it to happen now.
This was the first time that he faced a team that was like, we're not going to let you beat us.
Yeah, and they're never going to get him off the ice tomorrow.
No. Even though they don't even have practice tomorrow.
No, he's going to show up and be like, screw you guys, I'm not going home.
He's probably already there shooting pucks.
Yeah. So... All right, well, we'll see. I'm looking forward to hearing what Luke has to say. We're working on getting that done for you. But before that happens, we want to remind you, although there's been better times to be a Chicago sports fan, right? Things are not great right now. Mm-hmm. But you still want to look good if you're going to a game. You don't want to be that put in some generic Walmart T-shirt with nothing on it. You want to have a nice Hawks hoodie or a Bears hoodie to match your paper bag. You got to get those color coordination
nice
going.
Brown Bears
and
hoodie.
Foco is the place to do it. Get fitted out in the coolest and best sports gear around. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. It is football and hockey season. That means you're going to want to bundle up eventually.
Terrifying.
85 effing degrees out today again. But eventually you're going to want those hoodies, those pajama pants, those slippers, everything you need to stay warm and cozy at a Bears game or right on your couch as you're watching the Hawks play. FOCO also has awesome like bobbleheads and decor for your man cave and she shed, which they've donated some. You can see it on our site here. Great stuff. My favorite, the Hayden Wisniewski Immaculate Inning bobblehead, which is just flying off the shelves from what I understand.
They could have used a few of those last week or so.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
that would have been nice.
Try to get yours before they sell out. Go to foco.com or click the link in our description below. And for all non-pre-sale items, use that promo code CHGO for 10% off at foco.com.
Yep. And, like I talked about in the first break, things to help you forget about the Chicago sports landscape besides Connor Bedard and the future of the Blackhawks. Goose Island beer. They will help ease your pains and your worries about the landscape of Chicago sports with their tremendous roster of beers. Goose Island is the proud beer sponsor of us here at CHGO, and we love their roster of beers. You got the full pocket pills, the everyday beer, what the Goose Island beer brewers are drinking. You got the family of Beer Hug IPAs. And, of course, the golden cans of 312, the wheat ale, the staple of their year-round beer roster. And it is officially October 1st, which means it is the 32nd day of Oktoberfest. I'll have to ask Lucas Reichel about that. But Goose Island has amazing Oktoberfest beer to help you ring in the fall season. Grab all of these ultra-fresh brewery-exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or you can go to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Again, that is the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer. And speaking of Goose Island, it was flying out of the ice buckets today at the CHGO Bears tailgate. Had a great time before the game. Had a great time before the game.
And then the game happened.
And then the game happened. Well, the fourth quarter.
I bet you there was a lot of Goose Island being drank after the game, too.
Yes.
Probably more.
Yeah, so the tailgate was a lot of fun. Thanks to everyone who came out and supported us. Had a good time. Hey, it's part of the CHGO sports community that we are all building here. And the tailgates and all the events we have are a great time. We have 2 CHGO Blackhawks takeovers happening this season, November 4th and February 25th.
Yep.
So if you want to come out to those, a good way to do that and support us is to become a diehard.
Yep. Go to allchgo.com to become a diehard. You'll save 20% on all of our events and merch. All that merch at chgolocker.com. You also get a free shirt or hat upon sign up. That February 25th game worked out nicely. That's the Chris Chelios jersey retirement. As of now, that is sold out, but we are working on getting more tickets to that one.
Maybe more.
But plenty of tickets left. Not plenty. Some tickets left for the November 4th game against the Florida Panthers. Not only are you going to get the meet up with us, go to the game with us, hang out with us, we're doing the game day experience at Fifth Third Arena. You're going to get a locker room tour. Don't step on the carpet.
Yeah, they better have it roped off.
I bet you they do.
Some pudwhack is going to do it. Skokes is going to roll around and scoot his butt on the carpet like a dog with a butt problem. Do not step on the carpet. You will get shivved by somebody. But it's going to be fun. November 4th versus the Panthers, Eastern Conference champions, if you forgot.
Hey.
And that game day experience at Fifth Third is going to be something that we've never done before.
Does that include a skate?
I believe it does.
I am not injuring myself ahead of a game or a meetup, but I'm be happy to watch you roll around.
I'm not going out there. You can't.
No, hell no.
No.
What good could come from me or Greg?
Social media content.
Yeah, me breaking my back or falling down.
I don't want to pull a Sammy Savoie there and break my
Yeah.
leg.
I have a credibility problem enough as it is already.
Yeah, no.
People don't need to see me flopping around the ice.
You
like
can imagine what I would look like trying to ice skate. I don't need to prove it.
Yes, look at nothing good comes from big people trying things. All you become is an internet meme
Except
forever.
no food.
Yeah, exactly. All right, before we wrap up the show, Luke Richardson met the media after the game. We've not heard this. We don't know what he said. Apparently, there's no one there covering it. So
hopefully it's edited.
He
said
said
he's going to drop any dirty words.
Don't let Jay and Greg skate on our practice rink.
Yeah, well, that's because he's a good scout of talent.
Maybe you guys can play on the right side defense.
Sure, I can take up space. All right,
All right,
fire it up.
tough loss tonight. What are some of the positive takeaways that you can take?
Well, I think Alex Vlasic had a really excellent game. It's hard to say that about anybody with a 6-1 game, but he really skated, had good gaps, tried to play aggressive. Unfortunately, he just caught a guy on the knee and got tossed out of the game, which hurt us. But he was one of our only bright spots tonight. We really didn't give our goalie much help. A lot of point-blank shots and goals. So really not a good showing by any of us tonight. So I think, back to the drawing board, and that's what training camp's for, is to work out these kinks. But the effort level's got to definitely be way higher.
On the power play, you guys were 0 for 6. How are you going to improve on that?
You know what? I think just obviously different combinations are feeling each other out, but I think we need some more movement. We were a little stagnant tonight looking for that perfect play, and really resulted in nothing. So we have to be a little more creative to make them move and then take our shots when they're there, and we didn't do that.
Dickinson back in the lineup tonight. What did you see from him?
Yeah, he was skating and competing. Another guy that probably showed a little bit of jam out of our group, but it was his first game back on the ice with the team in a while. So I thought he gives us good leadership for sure. But him just getting himself back into the playing mode, so he's just step one. So we expect him to grow as well.
And then your thoughts on Lucas Reichel's performance in the face-off circle?
Yeah, Lucas competed a little bit harder, I thought, there tonight. He's still got a long ways to go at this NHL level with his strength, and working on that and just figuring out all the little tricks in that circle. But, we have, coaches for that to help him out and show some pointers. But you know what, I thought tonight Lucas had some good points and some not great points, but I know that he's working on the face-off circle, and hopefully that continues to get better.
Your team out-hit them tonight 24-11. What does that say about the physicality?
I think that was more at the end of the game when we got down, and we showed some character to play hard in the third period, but not hard enough. And when you don't show up for the first part of the game, it's hard. This team came to work tonight, and we didn't. And by the time we figured it out, it was too late. Thank you.
All right, thanks to the Blackhawks for use of that video. We appreciate that. Immediately shouting out Alex Vlasic, whose name I don't think we said today, and aside from the ejection and the knee-on-knee hit, he's clearly impressed Luke Richardson.
Yeah. I mean, that's another guy that I feel confident saying he's making the team. I think Kaiser and Vlasic are two guys that they haven't done anything to play themselves out of an NHL roster spot, and a guy like Isaac Phillips hasn't done anything to leapfrog him. No. And I think Korchinski's probably going to start the season there too.
Yeah.
It certainly looks that way. And that's good. I mean, Vlasic was really good for Rockford last year. Did a lot of those things that the organization was looking for him to do. They gave him power play time. They wanted him to be a little more aggressive in the offensive zone. He did that. So yeah, we'd all said Vlasic was the guy that's going to get the shot, and he's taken advantage of it. Phillips hasn't done anything to warrant to be like, oh my God, you got to send him back. It's just Kaiser's been better.
Yep, yeah. No doubt about it. All right, we got to pay off our stuff. So first, we're going to award the 4th star of the game. This one was a tight one. 36% say Louis Crevier. 35% say Wyatt Kaiser. 27% say Drew Comesso. So Louis Crevier, congratulations on your probably first and only.
No, don't. Let's not. Congratulations to the floating head of Louis Crevier. Sounds like a horror movie.
Yeah. The floating head of Louis Crevier. Thunder crash, werewolf sounds,
Vincent Price
etc.
is in it.
Yes. And speaking of congratulations, you guys have anything you wanted to congratulate me on, or?
Your cool Eddie Belfour sticker?
That is cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That.
Yes, you won the tiebreaker because nobody had
it doesn't matter. I won.
Congrats on your shootout win.
Thank you.
Yes.
I will take it.
You got your wins.
I do have my wins.
I'm about to go on a 3-game heater. And
you're going to go on a tear?
Yeah.
I mean, it is cool winning Who's Your Hawk, right, Jay?
Yes, it's fun.
It's a lot of fun to get to It's a lot of fun to get
It is great. It makes you feel smart.
Maybe one day you'll get to enjoy it.
You know who I'm picking next week?
Conrad Bedard.
You get the first pick.
Yeah, before we make the amendments on how often you can pick him, I'm picking him 3 straight games.
Yes, you should.
Screw the
You
rules.
absolutely should do that. You absolutely should do that. That's what I did today. I said, screw it. I got to get on the board. I'm taking Bedard.
There's no rule against it. Go for it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we'll figure it out before Pittsburgh.
Where are we on our Who's Your Hawk trophy? Did we make any progress on that?
He's got to ship it, and he's not here tonight. Well,
He was trying to pawn off Ray Bork's shoulder pads.
yeah, Charlie, the big guy.
No, I didn't see that.
He doesn't have your number. He didn't. He was going to add you to the group chat.
He's going to give us. He's got an old Cooper helmet that we're going to decorate and wear
And put
when
some
we get
stickers on
when we
whoever-
win.
yeah.
Who's your Hawk?
There he is.
There he is.
And then Charlie says,
Hey, you guys want Ray
"Do you guys
Bork's
want
shoulder pads?
Ray Bork?" I'm like, I mean, that's a cool thing, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
I'm not going to try and put him on my fat ass.
No.
But they were for when he was in Colorado, so I suggested maybe we send that and they can hang it up in the
Send him to
DNVR bar.
DNVR. Yeah.
Though we're
That's-
mad at DNVR today.
Are they like the like 1980s like?
It was when he was
Cardboard.
in Colorado.
Yeah, so 90.
Yeah, but
what
he
would that
probably
be?
was still wearing some old
Probably they
ones.
probably look nicer than Tyler Johnson's.
That's
shoulder
true.
pads
Yeah,
that he
Being
still has from
held
doing
together
it.
by duct tape and
Just-
twine.
Sweat and
Yeah.
pure will.
We'll keep our eye on the mail for the Cooper helmet, but
Yeah,
I know
so
what we're gonna
whoever
do.
wins the Who's Your Hawk has to wear the helmet for the last 3 minutes of the show.
yeah,
for
or
the
attempt to anyway. If
We'll
our
have
heads
a
are big enough.
crowning ceremony.
For
The
the
other
segment.
two could put it on. And we'll get some. We'll get
Hold a
that,
hockey stick like a scepter.
We'll get that King music that we played last year.
Da, 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 da.
Maybe find
Yeah,
that or
that'll be perfect.
the King Harley Race's theme song from the back in the day.
Sure. Lots of
Or
options.
Pop and Circumstance. That's public domain, isn't it?
That's right.
That
I think
could be.
so. Yeah. And Randy Savage used that song too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If he can, we can. Damn it.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna wrap things up. We are off tomorrow. Oh
Slim
no.
Jim's in here.
Totally off.
Sorry, everybody. Off day tomorrow for the Hawks and for us. We're back Tuesday, post-game Hawks and Red Wings. 7:30 game, so 10:15, 10:20-ish usually is when we get on for post-game. So
Home game, right?
Yep.
Home game. Next
Okay.
two are home games.
should be a lot of fun. We'll talk to you then. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Steven for producing. Again, thanks to the Hawks. And I want to thank Charlie Romiliotis for transcribing the Wyatt Kaiser quote for me. I Venmoed him 75 cents for his efforts.
Nice.
So a little,
It
Still cheaper
cost
than
you more
Otter.
to send it to him.
one more dollop of hair grease for Charlie for free.
There you are.
All right, we appreciate everybody being here. Smash that like button on your way out and tell a damn friend for us. We'd appreciate that. We'll talk to you Tuesday night on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.